Okay, so this is my 95 base coupe Corvette that is a project I have. I bought it from a kid that let it sit for a couple years, broke, and I've been trying to redo a lot of stuff, fuel system, etc. Well, one of the things we did was we wanted to lower the car because I thought it sat kind of high. I didn't like how it sat, so I bought the lowering kit out of I believe it was Zip, and it was for the most part pretty easy. There's a bunch of videos on how to do the rear suspension of the car, which right now it looks high because I have a jack under it. But I could not really find any videos on how to do the front that gave me any kind of guidance or anything like that. So I thought I'd do a quick video and show you guys what is required to lower the front of these. Again, this one's a 95, so I don't know how the front suspension looks on, anything newer than probably 91. So you just kind of go off of what I'm showing you to kind of give you an idea for whatever year you're trying to do. So this is the old block that you have to remove to put in the new block that comes with the kit. So what you have to do is you have to get it up in the air, which you have to get it up higher than I have it now, because you have to be able to have a lot of room to move around. But you take, there's a bolt on each side of the shock, one here, one over there. You gotta remove both of these, which has a bolt on one side and a nut on the other, so you got to have a wrench and a socket. And also you got to remove this castle nut and the cotter pin. You got to remove both of those. And then once you do that, you have before you take that castle nut out, have your jack sitting underneath here so that you can lower it slowly, because obviously your monoleaf spring here will have it under tension. So lower it slowly, pull it apart. Obviously before you do that, you got to take your caliper and your rotor off first. I should have started there, but you got to do that. And then you also need to unhook your sway bar. So whichever way you want to do, you want to do the top one, you want to do the bottom one, doesn't really matter. But you got to remove the sway bar. Probably easier to do the bottom so you have room to move the leaf around. But it's been a couple months since I've done it, so I don't remember the exact way or which one I took off. I'm pretty sure I took the bottom off. Anyway, once you get those removed and you get this down enough, which there's also bolts. See that mounting plate right there? The silver plate. You got to remove that so that you can drop the spring down enough to get the block out, because the block sits. Trying to get the light up there enough to see it. There's the little shim right there. You can kind of see it. But that's the block that you got to put in there. Once you drop the spring enough to where you can get the old one off, I used an air chisel and basically had to cut it off. Just work it real slow around until you get basically it all cut off. And then I took a razor blade and some other stuff and just basically cleaned it all off enough to put the required glue down to put the block on. Then I let the block sit I let it sit overnight. I don't think you have to let it sit that long. However, I let it sit overnight, and then once that was done, you basically just bolt it all back together. And the higher you have it in the air, the easier it is to do. Then you'll have more room to work, and you're not trying to crawl around underneath the Corvette, which I don't know how many of y'all have done that, but it's not easy to do. But you do both sides like that, and then once you bolt it all back together, it's It doesn't take long. So it's just it definitely takes longer to do than the back. The back, you know, you can get that done in a couple minutes. The front's going to take a few hours to get both sides done. So yeah, just thought I'd show you that real quick on how to do it. So if y'all have any questions about it, please feel free to shoot me a note or a question, and I'll do my best to give you an answer. Thanks for watching.